Hi, I'm Sean Carruthers, and welcome to How Do I on Butterscotch.com. This series we're taking a look at using the Sonos system. This episode we're going to talk about setting up all your Sonos gear. Now once you have all the gear that you want for your Sonos system, whether it's one piece or multiple pieces, you have to set it all up to work together. The first thing you need to do is to take your Sonos player and plug it in. Then you're going to connect it to your home network using a single Ethernet cable. The Zone player that you have may have one or more than one Ethernet jack on the back. Now if you don't have an Ethernet jack right near the player that you want to set up, you can get around that in a couple of ways. One is a very long Ethernet cable. Another one is power line networking, but you can also use the Zone bridge directly from Sonos. Now the Zone bridge is designed as a bridge between your home network and the Sonos gear. You plug it in near your home network and it creates a mesh network with the rest of your Sonos devices. If that's the kind of configuration you're going to need, set up the Zone bridge first. You'll add the Zone players later on. So the first step, of course, is to take the Zone bridge, plug it into the wall, and then plug an Ethernet cable into the back of the Zone bridge, and then one into your home network. Then you're going to go to the computer that you want to set up the Sonos desktop controller software on. It can be a Mac or it can be a Windows machine, and it can be a laptop or it can be a desktop. The only thing is it's going to have to be on the same network that your first device is on, whether that's the Zone bridge or one of the devices itself. So go through the setup process, installing the software on your machine, and then it'll take you through the setup process of the Sonos network itself. During the install, it'll ask you to connect to a Zone player or a Zone bridge. So if you have a Zone player that you can actually connect directly into your home network, just take the Ethernet cable and plug it in. Once your first device, whether Zone player or Zone bridge, is set up and ready to go, then you hit continue on the software, and it'll show you the buttons you need to press to add this device to your network. On the Zone bridge is one single button on the top. You'll press that if that's the one you're going to do. If it's one of the Zone players, then you'll press a two-button combination on the top of the player. Now, provided the Zone player or the Zone bridge are on the same network you're using for setup on your computer, as soon as you press that button or button combination, it should automatically be detected by the setup on the computer and automatically add that to your Sonos network. Now, if you're only adding the Zone player in this first step, you're ready to go to the next step. If you've only added the Zone bridge, you'll have to add your player next. So you'll go into the software, up to Zones, add a Sonos component from there. You'll repeat the process with a button push, and again, provided the new Zone player is on the same network as your computer, it should automatically be detected. It'll ask you to name it, and then you're ready to go. You now have a Zone bridge and a Zone player set up on your network. Again, this is the same process you'll use to add other components to your Sonos network down the road. You go up to Zones, add a Sonos component, press the button on the device itself once it's plugged in, and then it should automatically be added. You'll be asked to name it, and then it'll be part of your network. Now at this point you've got the hardware set up for your Sonos network, and the next step of course is to set up the music collection that you'll need to send to the devices so you can listen to them. We'll talk more about managing your music and other music streaming services in the next episode of this series. You can see the show notes for this episode and the other episodes in the series at butterscotch.com.